I want to start with a quiet moment that still stays with me. I was standing in line at a grocery store. An older man in front of me dropped a small bag of apples. They rolled across the floor. A young cashier watched. A few people behind him sighed. No one moved. The man bent down slowly, carefully, his hands trembling just a little. Someone offered help. He smiled and said, "No, no. I'm fine. I don't want to make a fuss." And in that moment, something in me tightened. Not because of the apples. Not because of the delay. But because of that sentence. I don't want to make a fuss. It sounded polite. It sounded humble. It sounded respectful. But it also sounded lonely. There are habits many of us were taught our whole lives. Good habits. Respectable habits. Polite habits. Habits that made us strong. Reliable. Admirable. But some of those same habits quietly become harmful when we get older. Not because they are wrong, but because the world around us has changed. And because our needs have changed. Today, I want to talk about 5 habits society praises in old age, but that quietly steal our voice, our independence, and sometimes even our will to live fully. Not to scold. Not to shame. Not to lecture. Just to hold them up gently and ask, is this still serving me? The first habit is this. Not wanting to be a burden. Most of us were raised to carry our own weight. To solve our own problems. To never ask for too much. So when we get older, and our knees hurt, and our energy fades, and our memory slips, we tell ourselves, I don't want to bother anyone. I don't want to be a burden. I'll manage. I've heard it from friends. From neighbors. From my own mouth. A woman I know fell in her kitchen. She sat on the floor for almost an hour before calling her daughter. Why? Because she didn't want to interrupt her workday. Let that sink in. She would rather sit alone on a cold floor than risk being inconvenient. We tell ourselves it's dignity. But sometimes, it's fear wearing a polite mask. Fear of being seen as weak. Fear of losing our value. Fear of becoming too much. Here's a question worth sitting with. When did needing help become something to be ashamed of? And another one. If your child or grandchild were in trouble, would you want them to suffer silently just to spare you? The second habit. Always putting others first. You've done this your whole life. You raised families. You showed up to work sick. You stayed in unhappy situations to keep the peace. You sacrificed your dreams so others could have theirs. And now, even in old age, you still say, it's fine. Don't worry about me. They need it more than I do. I once asked an older friend what she wanted for her birthday. She said, "Oh, nothing, really. Just seeing everyone happy is enough. But later, in a quiet moment, she admitted, I wish someone would ask me what I really want, and mean it. Putting others first feels noble. But when it becomes a habit of erasing yourself, it slowly teaches your mind that your needs don't matter anymore. And that belief is dangerous. Not loud dangerous. Quiet dangerous. It drains joy. It weakens motivation. It shortens your sense of future. Ask yourself this gently. When was the last time I chose something just because I wanted it? Not because it was practical. Not because it pleased someone else. Not because it avoided conflict. Just because it made me feel alive. The third habit. Staying silent to avoid conflict. We tell ourselves we're being mature. We're being wise. We're being peaceful. So we don't speak up when we're disrespected. We don't correct people when they talk down to us. We don't express disagreement when our opinions are dismissed. We smile. We nod. We let it go. Over and over. I know a man who stopped going to family dinners. Not because he didn't love his family, but because every time he spoke, someone interrupted him. Finished his sentences. Changed the subject. He never complained. He just quietly disappeared. Avoiding conflict feels calm. But long-term silence is not peace. It's self-erasure. It teaches your brain. My voice doesn't matter anymore. My thoughts are outdated. I should stay invisible. And invisibility slowly kills the spirit. Here's a question. If you don't defend your own voice, who will? The fourth habit. Accepting whatever is given, without question. We were taught to respect authority, to trust professionals, to not rock the boat. So when someone makes decisions for us, doctors, caregivers, family members, institutions, we say, whatever you think is best. I'm sure you know better. It's fine. Even when something inside us feels uneasy. Even when we don't fully understand what's happening. Even when we quietly feel stripped of control. I once watched an older woman agree to move into a living facility she clearly didn't want. Why did she agree? Because she didn't want to upset her children. She told me later. I feel like my life was decided without me. Respect is not the same as surrender. You can honor others and still honor yourself. You can listen and still question. You can be polite and still say, I need more time to think about this. Ask yourself, am I choosing this? Or am I just going along to avoid trouble? The fifth habit is the quietest one of all. Shrinking your life to avoid inconvenience. You stop traveling because it's too much trouble. You stop trying new things because it's too late now. You stop meeting new people because it's not worth the effort. Your world slowly gets smaller. Not because you want less life, but because you're trying to be easy. Easy for others. Easy for society. Easy for expectations. I know a man who always wanted to learn guitar. He finally admitted, at age 78. I didn't start because I didn't want to look foolish. That sentence broke my heart. Shrinking your life doesn't make you noble. It makes you invisible. And invisibility is not what you earned. You earned a full life. A wide life. A curious life. A dignified life. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding, not because I can't, but because I'm afraid of standing out? Now, I want to say something clearly and respectfully. None of these habits make you weak. They make you who you are. They came from good values. From loyalty. From humility. From responsibility. From love. But values must evolve. Or they become chains. What protected you in youth can imprison you in old age. This is not about becoming rude, or selfish, or demanding. It's about reclaiming something sacred. Your voice. Your preferences. Your right to take up space. Dignity is not silence. Dignity is not shrinking. Dignity is not disappearing quietly so others feel comfortable. Dignity is standing in your truth. Even if your voice shakes. Even if people don't like it. Even if it feels unfamiliar. You are not a burden. You are not an inconvenience. You are not too old to matter. You are a living archive of wisdom, pain, resilience, and love. And your life is still unfolding. So here is my invitation to you. Not a command. Not a demand. Just an invitation. The next time you feel the urge to say, "It's fine. I don't want to bother anyone. Whatever you think is best. I don't want to make a fuss." Take one breath. And ask yourself, is this politeness? Or is this fear wearing a polite mask? And then, choose yourself. Not loudly. Not angrily. Just honestly. Because the truth is, you do not lose your worth with age. You do not lose your voice with age. You do not lose your right to dignity with age. You gain it. And the world doesn't need quieter elders. It needs braver ones. Wiser ones. Ones who remember. My life still matters. My voice still matters. And I am allowed to take up space. So I'll leave you with one final question. Not to answer out loud. Not to rush into action. Just to carry with you. Where In your life right now, are you being polite at the cost of being true? And what would change if you chose dignity instead?